Hello orchid addicts of all various colors and shapes. Welcome to my channel, and my name is Leonard. Today I wanted to give a little bit of an update on what's going on in my life. What I could start with, you can see these two Phalaenopsis are in bloom, and also my Dendrobium Comet King is in bloom. So that's kinda nice. This video is going to encompass a couple of different things about orchid care and life stuff. So what happened is you can see my Comet King has a lot of new growths which it created the past year, but it doesn't have so many blooms. And long story short, this is because my Comet King didn't receive ample amounts of sunlight during the winter. So if you want your dendrobiums to produce stronger bloom displays, you need to give them more sunlight when they have their winter rest period. But also there are a lot of free places on the canes to bloom, so I have faith that they will be blooming next spring. And sorry for the mess in the background, it's the autumn. And here is the flower spike of my Phalaenopsis Sogoshito, and here are some of its kind of limp leaves, and you can see there's a water glass of sorts that one of the roots is receiving constant hydration from. So that's basically what keeps it alive. And here is my pink Phalaenopsis. And you can see there is no seed pod on it. Sorry for the bad lighting. And basically my breeding experiment kind of failed. And I suspect it was because the ploidity levels of both of these orchids didn't match each other. Basically speaking, it's a genetical thing, and they didn't have the same amount of chromosomes, which means that they have a very hard time producing seeds. But this is only a theory, because what I suspect is going on is that this Phalaenopsis is actually a hybrid between Phalaenopsis schelleriana and Ludimaniana. This is a wild theory, but listen to me, because I found a couple of photos on the internet showcasing very similar blooms of this type, which were hybrids between Schelleriana and Ludimaniana. And what I think is happening, if you don't understand genetics, please don't listen to this, just skip this half a minute. But basically speaking, I think the Schelleriana, which was used in the breeding, was a tetraploid, and the Ludimaniana was a diploid. And that's why its offspring looks mainly like Schelleriana, because it received more genes from Schelleriana. So its traits were much more dominant, But when I look at the leaves of this orchid, if you're not familiar with the species, I think I see some resemblance with the Ludimaniana, leaf growing style. But the roots are definitely very similar to Schelleriana, and the leaf mottling is very similar to Schelleriana. But this orchid doesn't possess any fragrance. So that would make this hybrid a triploid, which is basically speaking synonym for infertile. And I suspect my Sogoshito is a diploid. So that's why they wouldn't be able to have offspring. But do have faith, because I will be repeating this breeding experiment when my Sogoshito creates more blooms. I didn't allow it to produce more blooms now because it's just in a very poor state, and I don't want to risk losing it, because this is truly a fantastic orchid to have. Its fragrance and the color is astonishing. It would be a really big shame to lose it. But another idea, which would be an alternative, is to purchase a real Schelleriana, which would be a diploid, aka with smaller flowers, and breed these two together. And then I would you know, receive the same thing I was looking after, maybe even with better results. So maybe in the future you can stay tuned for that. I'm definitely looking out to purchase a Schilleriana when May comes and I get some more money. And on the topic of money, I am going to have my first day at work today. I am a professional hairdresser. I have a hairdresser certificate. And you can see there is a bit of a, you know, two-sided passion going on within my life. And yeah, today I'm going to go in my first day to show off my skill at a hairdressing salon in the Hotel Radisson. So if you're ever coming to Latvia, come and visit Hotel Radisson Daugava, which is near the capital of my city, and you know, we can meet up and talk about orchids. And another thing, and a couple of other things is like in my life, I've been quite busy. You can see this is my dog. This is a hybrid between Shih Tzu and French Bolognese, and his name is Shrek, and he's kind of lazy right now. And he's really old. He's 15 years old, and he has a couple of health problems, you know, right now. So after 4 days, he has a veterinarian appointment, which is, you know, a bit stressful, you could say, perhaps. Yeah, and here you can see one of my birds. This one is a grey cockatiel who is afraid of the camera. Don't worry, this is not animal abuse. But yeah, his name is Strasts, which means sternness, I think. And he had a partner in crime. And this was she. Her name was Petsinya, or Little Paw, and she recently died. So yeah, that's been keeping me a bit busy and away from, you know, my passion, which is making videos. That's not all the updates which I have in store right now. Here you can see one of my bloomers. Excuse me for that. He's gonna make beautiful sound. This is my Phalaenopsis Sweet Memory Leodoro, and it just a couple of days ago opened its bloom. This is the first day where it is having a fragrance, and it kind of smells similar to grapes. It smells like some sweet, you know, fruit cocktail, and I feel a hint of apple and grapes in it. It's really hard to explain. One of this orchid's parents is the Phalaenopsis violacea, which is very perfumed. But there is some discussion then that the violacea used to breed the Sweet Memory is actually partially a Bellina, and that might explain the fruity fragrance. And also this breed is apparently also a triploid, which means it has a very hard time breeding. But this is all just theories on my part. In any case, this is a, you know, quite a big of a pleasure for me. And you can see it's creating a secondary spike on one of its older flower spikes. But it's not creating any new extensions of the previous flower spikes. And that's because this orchid has not entirely started to grow again. You can see it is not producing a new leaf. And this is mainly a hybrid of the summer blooming species, so you can expect these kind of Phalaenopsis to bloom excessively when their growth season starts. And the end of February is not exactly, you know, that lucky point for me quite yet. And you can see there's a bit of, you know, discoloration in the middle of its, I think these are petals. And that's a sign of very mild peloria. I don't like this, but it's not a big issue. But you can see there is some distortion on the back of this sepal, which results in this like scarring right here. And I think all of these things are a consequence of cloning. You know, when you clone orchid, there is a chance that the clones are going to have mild variations, mild defects from the original plant. So this is, you know, something along those lines. In any case, I can't complain. This orchid satisfies me, you know, quite a lot, and it's very unique, and its fragrance is what I'm after. The color pattern is not my favorite. I, you know, subscribe to more solid color patterns much more, but, you know, I'm fine with this. So I think that was, you know, more or less it for now. This is what's going on in my life, why I have been creating so many videos, and what's going on with my orchids right now. So don't feel sad for me, you know, experiencing trouble with my pets. It happens to everybody. I don't feel sorrow or any long-term hard feelings about it, so it's perfectly fine. It happens. It's like reality of life. It's not always smooth. But yeah, I'm really excited for spring to come. And what I wanted to say, you can expect me to be making Catasetum care tutorial in the format of my Cycnodes Vine Delight reporting very soon. And yeah, you can expect some unboxing, but not in the very near future. You know, I'm not going to order until the beginning of May, because I do not want to risk damaging my orchids from cold, and I also have to earn some money first before I could splurge like an orchid addict that I am. And another thing is I'm going to be making how I sow some seeds and indoor, you know, seed germinating setup demonstration in the very near future, so you can stay tuned for that. I am very passionate also about growing pansies, violets, and I hybridize them myself. So yeah, you can expect some of these kind of videos in the future, if you're of course interested. If you're not, then it's okay. So thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you want more of this kind of content, and bye. Have a pleasant spring, you know.